Welcome to the Rhubarb, our week 3 here. Had a good Thanksgiving.
Hope you all had a good Thanksgiving.
I'm Will, this is Patrick, and welcome to the Rhubarb Sportscast for every sports fan. We talk current events and debate opinions. We love to hear your opinion and make it into our next show. If you want anything discussed, feel free to email us at therhubarbpodcast@gmail.com or hit us up on X. I always want to say tweet us. Although it's X now, right? So at Rhubarb Podcast. All right, you want to run over what we're thinking for the initial headlines, kind of hit on our show.
So this is just a little outline. If you've watched us in the past, sometimes we hit them all. Sometimes we just get way off script. But anyway, here's what our ideas are for this week. 3-loss Alabama over a 2-loss Miami for the college football playoff.
Yeah.
As predicted, even with the loss, you mix the playoffs. Questions about the current draw, though.
With Georgia.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's just, not to interrupt you, but let's run through what it looks like. Now, we've got the conference championships coming up this weekend.
Correct.
And so we could maybe hit that real quick, but
Yep.
We've got the number 1 seed is the Oregon Ducks, 2 seed Texas Longhorns, 3 seed SMU Mustangs, and 4 seed is Boise State Broncos. Now, those all get byes, and you move on to first round matchups, which are on campus. So you've got Tennessee at Ohio State. What's your pick if it's Tennessee at Ohio State? Would you pick the Buckeyes?
I'm picking the Buckeyes.
I think I'm going with you on that one. Arizona at Penn State. I would go Penn State on that one.
Yeah.
Bama at Notre Dame.
I'm going to go Bama.
Yeah,
even though I just said I don't think they should make it in as a 3-loss,
Notre Dame's rolling though.
Notre Dame is rolling, but still,
that's a tough one, I think. But I mean, it may not even shake out, right? So and then the last playoff game, initial playoff game would be Indiana, my Indiana Hoosiers at the number 7 Georgia Bulldogs.
You don't want my pick.
Yeah, we get killed by Georgia, but we'll see. Maybe we could hit an SMU or something if something crazy happens this weekend.
So that's our best bet is if Clemson would beat SMU.
Okay.
In the ACC
big possibility there, I think.
Championship, correct? Because that would put Clemson guaranteed in, and I don't see them leaving SMU out right now. So that would have to draw Bama.
I'm going to cheer.
Which means if Bama gets knocked out, that's going to mix up pretty much everything. So
yeah, and so we're back to the drawing board. So we can let you know next week.
Right.
We'll run through the whole college football playoffs.
Right.
So, but in that case, for now, back to the NFL on your headlines.
McCaffrey out for the season.
So sad.
Barely got into the season. Bengals score 99 points in 3 games.
Yeah.
And 0-3. And then, obviously, fantasy performers for the rest of the season. Little Daniel Jones news, which we've talked about a couple times. And then we got the MLB winter meetings coming up on the 9th in Dallas. This time we might actually get to talk a little MLB. We ran out of time last time. And as we said in episode 1, you're going to hear us talk a lot about the Cubs because we are Cubs fans. So we're going to kind of discuss the needs for the Cubs, what moves they've made, what they should do, what we'd like to see, and maybe a few surprises.
Before we get in the MLB, because I know you're excited to talk about the MLB. I had to do some reading and research here, so we'll see. Hopefully, I can give you some back. If we could have a quick back and forth on Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones goes to the Vikings for $375,000.
Still getting paid $11.8 million from the Giants.
From the Giants, but on the practice squad.
Correct.
For the Vikings.
So if another NFL team loses their quarterback, in essence, and they wanted to bring him in, they could sign him off their practice squad.
So it's week 14. You've got 18 weeks in the regular season in the NFL right now.
Right.
I can think of a handful of teams right now that need some help at quarterback. Obviously, our Colts coming to mind. The Cowboys,
Cowboys.
possibly the Jets,
Maybe. Raiders.
Raiders. When I say help at quarterback, I guess I know that Rodgers is good for the Jets, but I'm also thinking I don't know if they're willing to commit to him long term. So I'm thinking,
Right.
he could do a long term situation. Why do none of these teams want to bring in Jones for 4 weeks, try him out, air it out, because they're kind of out of contention now at this point anyway,
Right.
and see what they can get out of it?
I mean, if you were to sign him for more than just the practice squad, that number would be more than 375.
But it doesn't have to be that much more. One, he's getting 11-8, and two,
True.
you make him a deal. You say, listen, you perform, we'll give you a better contract next year. But
Right.
you don't have any other choices right now.
Doesn't. But it's not like he was necessarily lighting it up for the Giants.
Well, yeah, what was the stat? No touchdowns at the
In
Meadowlands?
almost
Is it-
2
or
years.
whatever?
Now, he finally did before
Yeah,
he
home.
left, but it was almost 2 years that he didn't throw a touchdown at home.
That's rough.
That,
But
yeah.
if you're a team, you say maybe it's the environment, maybe the receivers, maybe offensive line. I'm not saying any one of those isn't, he should have been able to do better, I think. But
Something.
if you're a team that's not likely to make the playoffs, Cowboys,
1%, right?
and you've had quarterback injuries,
Right.
why not give
Right.
it a shot?
Yeah, Cooper Rush definitely isn't doing it. The only thing I'd have to say with the Cowboys is if you're bringing him in to see what he can do, they just paid Dak a lot of money. So
Yeah.
you're not looking
And
for.
look where it got him.
I know, but you're not looking for a future quarterback there right now.
No,
You're
but it'd be
looking for
nice
a
to know
gap
something
stop.
if you had to, and maybe Jones is it. I think you get to renegotiate his contract next year anyway, right? Because
You have to.
so I think you have a situation. I'm just surprised that somebody. I mean, somebody else is paying a salary and go give it. Just surprised that no one wanted to do that.
I mean, at this point in the season, though, the teams that really need a quarterback, I guess technically we put the Jaguars there right now too, with old Sunshine getting knocked out last week.
That's true, Lawrence.
Yeah.
I did not see that hit. Did you see that hit?
He looked like Tua.
Oof.
Fingers were doing the little fancy dance while he was laying on the ground. It was
Oh.
pretty rough.
Oh man.
Yeah, it was a bad
I
hit.
think surgery. I think I saw he has to go under surgery.
Oh, I didn't
So-
see that. I
oh,
knew he had
yeah.
a concussion. I didn't know about the surgery.
It's rough. Hope he gets better.
But a lot of your teams right now that are going to need quarterbacks were late enough in the season. They're thinking high draft pick, and there are some good quarterbacks coming out. So I think they are more willing to go via the draft than try to bring in somebody that couldn't do anything in New York.
Yeah, but it's a freebie. Why not? Then you could draft other pieces.
true.
Especially if you're a team that might need multiple pieces.
Or at that point, you at least have a veteran to.
Yeah, and I'm not saying the Cowboys need multiple pieces, but they need to be able to put it together better than they have, even when they all are healthy.
I mean, I get quarterbacks a big part of the puzzle, but it's not like they were lighting it up even when Dak was there.
This is true.
There's a lot going on there.
All right,
now.
all right. So moving on real quick because I know we're trying to get to the MLB here on this one, but I need a running back and a wide receiver. I'm going in. I need to make I've got a decent shot at the playoffs on my fantasy team. Now I just beat your butt.
Knocked
past
me out
weekend.
of first. Thanks a lot.
No, it's because of your fantasy advice.
Brock Powers, come on.
Yeah, it's only because you benched the wrong guy. But hey,
Yeah.
anyway, it's all right. So I need a running back and a wide receiver. Who might I pick up that could be a free agent, maybe not, or a trade? Maybe I have, some underperforming
I would say wide receiver, maybe Jameson Williams out of Detroit.
Okay.
St. Brown has been playing well, which is obviously kind of given Williams that Smith-Schuster effect when they had Antonio Brown and Smith-Schuster there in Pittsburgh, where the attention's off him, so he's getting some good young talent, very good young talent. Has been making some nice catches, putting up some numbers, especially in your deeper leagues. He might still be there. In your shallow leagues, I guarantee you he's probably there.
Okay.
Or maybe Reed out of the Packers. I know a lot of people have been strong on him.
Okay.
He's been coming on pretty well. But he won't be available in your deep leagues. That's going to be
Okay.
more of your 8 to
Okay.
10-man leagues, most likely.
Okay.
Running back, having a brain fart his name. Since McCaffrey's out, obviously, if you haven't got the San Francisco guy that took over when he was out for the first couple weeks, Jordan Mason.
Okay.
Jordan Mason. With McCaffrey out, I know he's going to be hot on the waiver wire for people who may have let him go before. With McCaffrey coming back, but the man runs with purpose. He is he's an up downfield runner. So you're not going to get a lot of negative plays out of him, and he's shown potential that he can be a number one.
Okay, so recap real quick. Wide receivers, Williams out of Detroit.
Williams out of Detroit, Reed out of Green Bay. Because right now, let's be honest, the NFC North is the division in football.
Yep.
And then I'd say Mason out of the Niners if he's not already picked up. But I know a lot of people already had him just because of the initial injury to McCaffrey.
Yeah. Alrighty. All right, and now what you've been waiting for. MLB winter meetings, December 9th, Dallas, Texas. GMs go in, wheeling and dealing. Oh baby, let's see. It could be an interesting week next week. We'll try to get back to the college football playoffs, but maybe we'll have some news in MLB also to go over. Would be good. But right now we kind of want to talk about free agents and needs around the MLB.
Okay. Well, first, I'd have to give a shout out and say congratulations to Professor Kyle Hendricks. Kind of thought his career was going to be done.
I did too.
Did get a 1-year, $2.5 million deal with the Angels. Best of luck to you. Hope it works out well. I know you're getting a little older, but I'm glad somebody still wanted you.
Okay, I have a rhubarb. I'm going to call it rhubarb because I think you're high on a player, I'm low on a player, but we have a fair offer on Hendricks' contract to debate, I think. And so now you have Hendricks at $2.5 million.
Right.
Scherzer,
I think, should be about the same, honestly.
I don't have Hendricks' stats, but I'm betting he's pitched more than 17 games in the last 2 years.
This is true. Well, he also got designated the bullpen for a while, though, too.
He still was pitching. Still innings.
A lot of the balls were flying out.
Still innings. 17 games, 6 wins, 6 losses. So not even making it 5 innings for Scherzer. This is Scherzer, sorry.
Yeah.
Scherzer's 40.
He's 40. What he does bring is a lot of playoff experience, a lot of clubhouse.
Sure, if you want to coach.
Right. True.
Pitching
Guy still
coach
can
is
pitch,
fine.
though. I mean, when if he's healthy, when he's out there, he can pitch. Honestly, Verlander's a free agent. I'd rather have Verlander, but the guy already proved that he can still play.
Yeah.
At the same age. But, again, you're going to have to be paying him more. Scherzer, I think, would be a cheap back-of-the-end rotation. But that's if you really want to make a splash and you predict that you might make the playoffs. It might be nice to have his veteran
I think it's a risk. I think if you think you're making a playoff run by that deep in the season, he's toast. So maybe if he's available after the All-Star break, pick him up.
Possibly, yeah.
But I wouldn't start him at the beginning of the season. That's my take. I mean, what, 8 games and 9 games? I think it was 9 games and 8 games. Oh, I'll have to put this on a stat. I'll have to edit this, but
Yeah.
you know what? It's and his ERA obviously has gone up last couple of years.
You
along
expect
with
that. Velocity's gone down.
decreased games.
Yep.
So it's just not there. You know, is WAR or is .4. So it's one of the lower
Yeah.
WARs in there. So I just don't think, you know, as somebody, hey, you thought Hendricks would retire. Hendricks had the benefit of he was outsmarting a lot of guys at the plate.
True.
And so it was not going to, I think that adds to longevity of career.
Right. The Greg Maddux effect.
I'm not saying Scherzer
overpowering
can't
people.
do that, but I think he'd have to step that up a little bit.
His command will have to be a lot better.
And the health. So I would be surprised, and this will be an interesting episode, you know, next week or the coming weeks, see if he gets signed here before by
somebody
by March. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but who else do you want to talk about here, and or what team? Obviously, the Cubs. Is there any other team you want to talk about here?
They don't have us listed as needing a first baseman. For some reason, they're high on Bush. Bush started off great, but then just didn't really do anything after May. You got somebody like Pete Alonso who declined his qualifying offer, 2.6 WAR. Obviously has interest in Chicago.
Yeah.
It's the trade rumors and him coming here has been swirling for years. I really think if they're wanting to compete, their best bet would be and the Cubs fans, I know you're going to hate me for this because everybody loves Morel, but if you really want to compete, you go out, you get a Pete Alonso, and you get an Alex Bregman, whose WAR is at 4.1, which is phenomenal. You get a Bregman, you get an Alonso. Our middle infield is fine. I honestly think our outfield is what they put as we need help with, but we don't really. With Crow Armstrong and Suzuki and Bellinger and Happ, I mean, you've got 3 starting outfielders and a DH there. Maybe you throw Morel on the DH if somebody needs a day. I mean, we need that. We need starting pitchers. Maybe Severino, who I know is a 30 and had a 3.91, but the guy's still got pop. He's still hitting upper 90s. Guy's still a burner. I
was looking up Alonso. He's wanting 150 million.
Okay.
So I'm not sure who that's equivalent to, but that's a lot of money.
Juan Soto wants 600 million.
He has offers of supposedly for 600
Right.
million.
Right.
Multiple offers.
Right.
So how much can the Cubs spend? Maybe we need to look at that.
But grand scheme of things, he's worth it. The man is a perennial home run leader. You bring him into the Windy City, it's not going to get worse.
Yeah. And you got Bellinger for cheap, right? So
you got Bellinger cheap.
I'm trying to think of.
Like I said, I mean,
you're not spending a lot of money
on anybody really
right now. So
and you still have gone out and made value deals so far this season with Boyd, and I mean, I wasn't a huge fan. I mean, I'm not opposed to Boyd, but I don't think he's really going to come in and make a difference. And you got Morgan.
You just had to shore up. I mean, I think you just have to shore up the rotation, right?
Right. I think our starting rotation. I did read that they're very interested in bringing Chafin back, the old sheriff who was there for a couple years. Then we traded him away. I think that'd be good. Back into the rotation or back into the bullpen. But they got to do something with the starting pitching, and honestly, I think we got to do something at first and third. I like Morel's bat. I don't like Morel's defense. Not at third base.
Not at third base. Would you do Bregman?
I would do Bregman. 4 point. I mean, Yeah, he'll probably be up there in the 100-some million as well. Come on, we haven't spent in years. I think Suzuki's our highest player, right? Highest
Oh
paid player
yeah,
right now.
I would have to look it up here. Try to look it up here, but
It's time for us to stop saying we're building for next year and actually make next year this year again. I don't want us to wait another 100 years for the Cubs to win a World Series. I don't know.
I hear that.
Um,
Dansby Swanson,
Swanson, that's right.
7 years, 177 million.
Yeah, Swanson is our highest. Again, you're looking at guys that are making.
Suzuki is second, 5 years, 85 million.
You're looking at guys. Yes, we're talking about 178 million. You said as our highest paid player, but we've got guys out there now that are making 600 million in major markets. It's not like the Cubs are a small market team.
They're not.
Spend some money, get some guys in.
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
I think okay. Well, let's say this. I think the money should be spent on the bullpen. I'll be honest. I think that would be the best bang for the buck. Your thoughts?
I think if you can we need pop. We didn't have a lot of pop last year. We need some pop in our bats. If we could get Bregman and Alonso, that's solid home run contribution that we just didn't have last year. I mean, I understand that you need arms in the rotation. You need arms in the bullpen. But if we're giving up 2 runs a game, but we can't score more than 1, we're still not going to win. It's time to spend some money. Hoyer needs to get off his pocketbook. Well, get off Ricketts' pocketbook, I guess. And get it going.
Cubs bullpen, I guess, so to your point, ranked 6th in the NL last year.
Then they went and got Morgan, who was either low 2 or high 1 ERA last year.
Yeah, sorry. So ERA, so they ranked 6th on the ERA, 3.81. Milwaukee was number 1 in the NL for 3.1. So I guess you're right. You know, it doesn't.
Especially if they are interested in Chafin, that'd be a nice back end. Probably wouldn't be super expensive because he is getting a little older.
So it really comes down to offense for the Cubs.
Yeah. And we're not going to out get Soto. We're not. I mean, it's just not going to happen. Would I like to see it? Actually, probably not. I just don't want to see him spend $600 million on somebody.
Yeah.
But a couple $100 million on 2 guys like Alonso and Bregman would not be bad. And again, our outfield is not in bad shape.
Bregman's another one, 156 million.
There.
So
you're still less than Soto.
And Bregman for 300 million.
Yeah,
wouldn't be a bad deal.
No.
So and you're shoring up the corners.
Yep.
And having
you got good defense. You got good bats. Like I said, I understand Morel's been playing third, but I wanted to see more.
So you got to free up some roster
progress.
spots. So who do you?
Honestly, you could use Morel's trade ban. I know a lot of people are looking for that bat.
Okay.
They were talking about it last year. I don't know who we got here looking for third. Maybe Oakland. We could go out and get some sort of pitching out of them. It says Toronto's got a need for third. Kansas City.
I'm gonna bring up a controversial point. Okay. Trade Bellinger.
I don't think it's controversial. They've been talking about it for a long time.
I think it's controversial to you. I don't think you'd want to do it.
I don't want to. Oh no, I like Bellinger.
Yeah, I think you should do it. One, I think you could get a lot for him because of his contract, right? That brings some value. So he's.
But what are we getting?
He's good. He's had a healthy season, which was a question mark.
Right.
And well, so I think not only should you get a good value for him as a player, but because he has a good contract structure that you're now taking on as a team, you're not overpaying for him. You might be willing to do more.
But
So
what are we getting for him? Like, we've got to get an MLB ready player for him, or an MLB player for him. We've already got a good farm system.
okay, so bring up what if you can't sign a Bregman or Alonso? So neither of those guys.
Bellinger's played first.
So you're okay with just as is. Going
I don't
in.
think Bush is the option there. You got to do something. If you actually want to compete or contend, we got to bring in a power bat or two.
You got Christian Walker, another top free agent at first base.
Yeah.
Not a lot of third base.
No.
Bregman's kind of the only top 25 free agent
Right.
on here based on MLB.com, top 23 to shout out MLB.com. And, looking at, I think it's a good thing now I'm looking at it. So, based on yardbarker.com, their needs of MLB teams, a lot of needs for relief pitching. A lot of bullpen needs out there.
Yeah.
Shoot, if you're a pitcher coming up in college or minor league ball, you might want to think about the bullpen.
Right.
Because there is a ton right now. So,
And there's a lot of value in it, too.
yeah.
They're starting to pay some relief pitchers to come in and play.
Well, they've always paid closers.
Right. But your setup men, not necessarily your middles, but your setups are starting to get a little more now.
A little more love, a little bit more money. So
with Chapman going to, didn't he go to Boston?
I don't know.
Chapman signed with Boston.
Has he lost any velocity? Yeah.
No, he's still throwing 104.
Oh my gosh.
Between 103 and 104. I know he did that last year with Pittsburgh against Boston, which is, I think, why they signed him. Right there, just go to there.
I will say that it seems like the past few years, the Cubs have leaned on the White Sox for trades.
Yes.
And I don't think that the White Sox have anything for the Cubs.
Maybe Crotchet.
That's true.
Although he had one good year, which is good, but he's also dealt with injuries.
Yeah.
What do we get?
I'm going to stick by my statement that they don't have anything.
Right.
Crotchet or not, they just don't have what I would say is good. And I don't know if it's just a friendship, comfortability there. But the Cubs need to be a little bit more aggressive in both the free agent and the trade.
I agree.
So
I agree. And they've got a very good farm system. I know Straw has been a lot of people's targets. Very MLB ready, just not really anywhere for him to go with us right now. So if we could get a frontline pitcher or somebody that's current veteran, something that's going to make us better now, there'd be a good value for somebody else to make them better in the future.
yeah.
Oh, what's your thoughts?
I doubt the Cubs spend the money. I'll be honest. I don't think they're going to get it Alonso or
They haven't since Hoyer's been there.
or Bregman because they're 150 million is too much. Although we had it here.
Are they okay with mediocrity and just selling tickets because the name's Wrigley Field?
I'll be honest. I don't know if the money's there. The ownership, and I'll be free to be corrected. I would love to hear people's opinions on this, but they spent the money developing Wrigleyville,
Right.
which it looks nice now. Don't get me wrong.
Still not winning games.
But build the team first, and then the money would have been there for you to do it. You won one World Series, thought you were fine, call it a day. Like, okay, like let's build a team that lasts instead of dumping ship and going. I don't know. So I don't know that the money's there. I think obviously that when all of it got completed or was about to get completed, COVID hit.
Yeah.
And so obviously you can't go there. So it might take a couple more years for them to rebound to get the money out of that money they put in.
So I know this is, and it probably will never happen because I doubt he'll come back. But if we are fine with mediocrity, we are fine not spending money. Let's at least get a feel good out of this. Bring Anthony Rizzo back and let him retire as a Cub. He's not going to bring a lot of pop. He's going to bring good clubhouse leadership. Always has everywhere he goes. Still going to give you a gold glove first baseman.
He'll put butts in seats.
He'll put butts in seats. People would love to see Rizzo back. You want to sell tickets without actually spending money? That's how you do it.
I think, and if you want a feel-good moment, you're having a down day, and the Midwest winter here, we're coming up. It's been cloudy and gray, folks. It's getting that way. But Google the Anthony Rizzo return to Wrigley Field.
Yes.
Yeah, you'll feel good.
Yeah.
For all day long.
Listen, Jed Hoyer, you want to put butts in the seats without spending money? Bring him back.
Bring him back. I think that would be a good thing. I'm just trying to see where.
That's not a move where you're trying to compete for anything. Nothing against Rizzo. I still love the guy, but he is a fan favorite, always has been. I know I darn near cried the day I found out they traded him.
The Cubs have the Cubs have one contract over $100 million. That's for Swanson at $177 million.
Right.
The next contract is for $85 million. They're not going to go out and get $150 million for Bregman or thing. So who can we get for $100 million? And call it, I guess. Is it
Walker?
Walker?
Possibly.
So.
Well, if they're going to do it, they better do it quick, though, because if some of these winter meetings come up and people start overpaying for people, those top 25 are going to start asking for a lot more than what they're getting.
Yeah.
So if you want to make a splash and do it fiscally responsible, do it early before some of these GMs go out and make rash decisions and overspend for players that they shouldn't be making that much money.
Yeah. Listen, this year, it's really here. You can take a look at this. This is interesting. I think in 25, you pay a bunch of players, but then you start in arbitration for a lot of them. So if you want to make a good move this year to set yourself up for next year.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's rough.
Yeah.
Hoyer did not set himself up for. He's going to be in the contract negotiations all season.
Yes, he is.
You might want to get those locked up. You might just want to focus on what he has at this point, really, and see what he can get done. Be aggressive. Go out there. Be aggressive for the meetings. See if you can get some value.
No money.
I'd spend some money. You should have it.
They do.
Theoretically, based on other teams, they should have it.
$172 million.
Yeah. Per year.
Right? For 2024 as of right now.
I wonder what that ranks. We should look up salaries. Maybe just go ahead and hit the top and type it in. But what's the MLB, total salaries. But if you don't go out and get somebody, you spend all offseason, the rest of the offseason locking up contracts so you can go out and do something after the 25 season. Otherwise, you are in a lot of trouble.
Yeah.
So.
Dang it. I will tell you, and I know we've already talked about this, but I will do the remainder of the podcast that we have in my Anthony Rizzo jersey if we re-sign him.
Oh,
Everyone.
I like it. I like it. I like it. Can't wash it either.
Okay, well, this isn't high school baseball.
Well, okay, if we get
If we win the World Series.
If we get 1,000 views, you can't wash it.
Yes. All right, here we are. Team salaries. So, Houston Astros, as of March 2024. Actually, it looks like the New York Mets were at $314 million.
Holy cow. Almost double.
Yankees were at 307.
Holy cow. And we're not even spending $200 million.
It said our last year was 215.
Oh.
But that for what we have coming up right now, we are not at 200 million.
They're spending over almost $100 million more than us. I'm telling you, the money's not there, man.
Yeah.
I don't know what that else it says. I mean, you got to at least spend, what, 250, 270?
If you want to compete.
Yeah. And it's not there. So, and I appreciate the effort the players put in last year. They had some good runs.
There's good role players there. We need a couple bats
to shore it up. Yeah.
We need it. You gotta put runs on the board.
Yep.
So
not doing it. Well, all right. We've probably overgone our time, but appreciate everyone joining us. Again, if you like something or don't like something that we talked about, email us at therhubarbpodcast@gmail.com or hit us up on X, formerly Twitter, at Rhubarb Podcast. Thanks again for joining us. Hope you guys had a happy Thanksgiving, full of turkey, and we'll see you next week to talk about college football.
sounds good. Thanks.